Good afternoon, everybody. Like I said, we're back for another episode for my Cash Sports Entertainment podcast that I'll be doing today. And man, it's just now 12 o'clock p.m. Well, for people who are here in Central Time, it is currently 12 o'clock, 12:06, and free agency is already crazy. That's why they call it a free agent frenzy because you have teams all over the place, players flying left and right from different teams, signing big contracts, small contracts. It's crazy. The Green Bay Packers already done made some moves. The Browns they're making moves still. You even have Cole Beasley who just reportedly just signed the Buffalo Bills. So it's a lot to get into today, man. Like I said, I know a lot of people always say, the off season is boring, they're ready for the season. But this is where good teams, good and great teams are built. It's through the off season. This is where the majority of the hard work is put in for people to put out on the product on the field when the season starts. You can't just jump right into the NFL season and just expect things just to blow up. No, this is where all the hard work and the meat of work is done in practice and then during the off season when these decisions need to be made. This is where the front office, this is how these guys get paid, the scouts and different things. These how these guys make their money. So we're just gonna just jump right into it since everything is flying back and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have even more news coming within minutes. But man, it's getting crazy out here. So we're first gonna just talk about the moves that the Browns have made so far. Man, they really are showing up that defensive line. I know early in the week, they traded with the New York Giants for Olivier Vernon, and so they're gonna pair him out with now with they're gonna pair him up with opposite of Miles Garrett, and then they just added Trent. I mean, not Trent Richardson, but Sheldon Richardson, defensive tackle. Man, they just added him now to the mix. So now you got Miles Garrett, Emmanuel Ogba, who's the right end, but he's more like a back. He's gonna be rotational guy. You got Sheldon Richardson, and then now you got Olivier Vernon. So you got some veteran guys, and you got a little bit of young guys mixed in. And the Browns really making moves, man. It's like I said, they finished what I think 6-10 last season, 7-9. Like they were a couple of games away from making the playoffs. They have talent. Don't do not sleep on the Browns this season. John Dorsey done came over there, GM from Kansas City, and he has turned that team all around. He got him a young quarterback who he really likes, who only going to get better. Like they say, they got a young running back and Nick Chubb. So their offense is pretty much intact. They got the Jarvis Landry, so they got some pieces to move the ball around, and now they're just trying to fix their defense. So the Browns are really making some moves. So I think right now they're pretty much one of the good winners right now so far in free agency early. Another team is the Green Bay Packers. They were very quiet yesterday in free agency, but now they have added a couple of pieces. They added a linebacker Preston Smith, who came from the Redskins. They signed him to a long term deal, and they also trying to fix their secondary as they added who was this? Who was the player that they just added in the secondary for them? Just lost my mind. But yes, they just added a safety to their secondary. Adrian Amos from the Bears. Yeah, so yeah, good safety. Good who played pretty good for the Chicago Bears for the past couple of seasons. So now he's going to Green Bay, and so Green Bay has a nice little secondary back there. They have some nice pieces. They have Josh Jones at safety. They have they have some nice pieces back there in the secondary. What's his name? Kevin King, for the 2017 draft. So they have some nice pieces, man. They really have some, and Josh Jackson. So they have a nice little secondary. So you could tell they're trying to work on that secondary and really trying to get the back end of that defense pretty much better. And I'm pretty sure in the draft or even within the next couple of days, they're gonna be adding some defensive line pieces and also some pieces to try to shore up their defense. And then I'm pretty sure they're gonna focus on offense in the draft and add some talent for Aaron Rodgers as well. So it's some really active teams, and I'm pretty sure you guys heard about Anthony Barr. He was expected to sign with the New York Jets yesterday. They offered him a contract, but I guess after him sitting back a whole 24 hours and got to thinking about everything, putting everything in perspective and see where he was leaving in Minnesota. I know they had one of the best linebacking crews in all of football. And I know they kind of underperformed last season. Would now make the playoffs, but I'm pretty sure he looked at everything in perspective and was like, man, you know what? We still got the same team intact. We probably can make another, probably can get back to the playoffs next year rather than me going to the Jets. Yeah, they're paying me, but they're in rebuild mode, and he probably just really had to take everything in perspective. So he backed out of it, and now he's heading back to Minnesota. And Jets fans are pissed right now because they're trying to add pieces. They have added some pieces a little bit too. Jamison Crowder, slot receiver. So they added some pieces to their team. They're in rebuild mode. And they got a young quarterback, so they're trying to get things in order as well with their team. And then we also, the biggest news I'm pretty sure that everybody wants to hear about. I just want to get those out the way because it's NFL free agency. It's not just the Cowboys. They don't, and different things like that. So, but we have now officially a former Cowboy who has left us in free agency and signed with the Buffalo Bills. So he's going to New York, the cold weather, and they signed him for a 4-year, $29 million deal. And I think it's 17 million guaranteed for the first 2 years, and then he's gonna make the other 14, something like that, within the years after. So he's gonna basically get front loaded the majority of the guaranteed money at the beginning, those couple of years. So it's not really much of a surprise because all season long, you've been hearing Cole Beasley call out the offense, call out the offensive coordinator, call out the quarterback, calling out the front office earlier this off season, saying that they like to throw to certain guys. So he has been calling out the front office, and when you call out on the front office with the Cowboys, you might as well just say bye bye. I know they said they want to bring him back at a good price, but I just think the writing was on the wall. They really didn't have any other conversations. He already said he wanted 20 million guaranteed, and he was. But what I really think, see, a lot of people think that he was sending that message to the Cowboys. I honestly think he was just letting other teams know, if you guys want my services, here it goes, 20 million guaranteed or close to that, and you got me. I think that's what he really was saying. It wasn't really a shot at the Cowboys because he was already he wanted the first star. He wanted to be the guy. And he been saying that forever, that he wanted to be the guy, even though he never been the guy in Dallas. He's been underutilized. And that's what he wants. He wants to be someone's number one, number two. He wants to be the 100 catch guy, the 1,000-yard catch guy, that could be the main guy in the offense. That's what he wants, and he knows he's not going to get that here in Dallas. So he basically wasn't sending a message to Dallas saying, you guys want me back, give me 20 million guarantee. No, he was telling other teams. He just wasn't putting the names out there, but he was just telling other teams, if you want me, and you want me to be utilized better than not being in Dallas, this is my asking price. This is what I want. You got my services. And he was behind the scenes talking to different teams, found him a team that's willing to pay him what he's asking for. So he's at the Buffalo. So, like I said, Beasley's been here since 2012, undrafted player, has been, one of the most consistent players on our offense for us for the past couple of years with Romo at quarterback and then Dak Prescott. So, good luck to Beasley. Like I said, I would love him to come back, but I'm not paying him 20 million guaranteed. I'm sorry. So, yeah, bye bye, Beasley. We thank you for your services. But like I said, we gotta move on. We can find better options either now in the free agency, or we can find better options in the draft. To me, Beasley was a good possession receiver, but he was good one-on-one matchups with certain corners. He can get you on the short and intermediate routes. He can easily get you a first down, but he was still limited in his routes. He wasn't a guy that you could take all over the field. Some slot guys like Jamison Crowder, different players like that, they can run different routes. They can run deep routes, curls. They can run in and out routes. They can run all over the field. Beasley was limited. He wasn't that type of guy. He was good short and intermediate from about 5 to 15 yards downfield, even 5 to 10 yards. But anything past like 15 plus, he wasn't used. So he was underutilized, but he was also limited as well in his routes because he wasn't the type of player to go deep for you. It had to be just something out of the ordinary where that no one was expecting. They would probably try once or twice every now and then he'll do that. But it's not anything that's consistent that you see each and every game. So he was limited in his route trees. He wasn't the best special teams player. He wasn't good at kickoffs and punt returns. So he was just strictly just that short and intermediate possession type guy that you can rely on. And for 20 million, I'm gonna need more than that. You have to be able to play special teams, kickoffs, punt returns, jet sweeps. If I'm gonna pay you 20 million as a slot guy, because slot guys can be replaceable, you know. So, like I said, so I appreciate everything Beasley has done and for the Dallas Cowboys over the past 7, 8 seasons. So, like I said, good luck in Buffalo. Hope he get adjusted to the weather. 'Cause I think he went to SMU, which is in Texas, and he played in Texas all his career. So, over here in New York and Buffalo, where it snows, it's gonna be a little bit more, a little bit of adjustment for you. So, but I hope everything goes well for you, Beasley. Good luck to you. Glad you got what you wanted. But the Cowboys, it's all business. So we gotta get younger. We gotta just find. We gotta just fill in holes. When one player leaves, you gotta fill that hole and keep going better and keep getting better. So the Cowboys, they have a philosophy. They know what they're doing. It's no point in getting excited or getting disappointed when it comes to the Cowboys for free agency. We already know they're gonna sign players just to plug in and fill in holes for depth pieces, and they're gonna do majority of their damage in the draft. We already been knowing this. The draft been working since the past 5 years. We've been one of the best draft teams for over the past 5 years. So we already know this. I don't know why fans get so hyped up and be getting mad each and every NFL free agency each off season. And they get excited and they get upset when we don't sign players. Like, you know this. They say these sometimes the Cowboys, they you know they love headlines. You know Jerry loves headlines. So they're gonna put a report out there. It's just a report. It's just a rumor. That's the thing. Some of these things be rumors and reports. They don't until it's final, until it's finalized, and they come out and say we have signed this player. Then it's all rumors and reports. So the Eon Rap reports. Sometimes these guys jump the gun. You know, he for sure thought that Antonio Brown was going to the Buffalo Bills. He said deal is finalized. There he goes, and then it come out later on. You know, they broke off talks, and then you know everybody was on Twitter for it coming for his head. But that's why sometimes you can't just report on things you don't know. You just report and just say, okay, they're working on a deal. They're having some talks. They're working something out to maybe come to a a middle. But you don't just go out there and just say, "Oh, it's finalized and this is it. Oh, they're gonna sign him and that's it. The deal is getting there. They're signing the deal right now." You don't know that. That they're just saying that they're working on a deal. They don't mean that it's actually official. Until you see that pen, until you go on their page and you see the actual, because they'll go the different teams. You go on their Twitter pages, they will put on there, yes, we have signed this player for this certain amount of years for this how much money for guaranteed. Welcome to this team, like welcome to Detroit. The actual Twitter pages of the NFL teams will actually do that. So until you see that, it's not official. It's just all reports. It's all just rumors. So you have to be careful. Not to get too excited, not jump the gun, because then it will look bad on you. It make it seem like you're just reporting false information just to try to be the first person just to say, okay, I found this out. It's not always about that. It's not always about being first. It's all about being accurate when it comes to reporting. That's number one in reporting is being accurate. You're not accurate, then you just out there putting out anything. You just out there putting out clickbait articles and putting clickbait content out, and that's not a good look. You get paid by being accurate. So just everybody pump your brakes. Don't get too excited. We already know how the Cowboys are when it comes to free agency. They just plug in depth pieces, backup players, players who can play certain roles in the offense and the defense, and they build through the draft. And then they teach and they mold these guys up. They try to get these guys to be good within try to get 3 or 4 years out of these guys, and then that's how they go. That way, you're saving more money doing that way, and you're also keeping your team fresh and young and hungry, and they're getting coached the right way. Because sometimes you pay big money just because some other guy has success at another team. You might run a four. This person might be successful in a 4-3 scheme, and then has success there, balled out, had a great years there, and then go to a team that's in a 3-4, and they're playing out of position and they can't play their best of their abilities, and then now you don't throw all this money at them and then they can't play. They're a liability because they run a totally different scheme than what they was accustomed to with the previous team. So You have to be careful when it comes to free agents. You can't just sign guys just because of the guy. You got to see, okay, did this guy fit what we need to do to be successful? The scheme that we running, can this guy be a playmaker? Can he improve our football team? Those are the kind of things you need to look at whenever you can't just sign players because you play good. If you running if you're running 3-4 and your defensive ends are playing more like linebackers and they're more in coverage and they're less on the ground, and you have a pure player that's all he does rush the passer and he's not a coverage player, then it's like, okay, now you're assigning him to do what? You're basically asking him to do things that are his weaknesses and making him do that full time over doing the things what made him get paid in the first place. And it's just not a good fit. And then those guys usually gone after 1 or 2 years, and they don't sound like a 3 or 4 or 5 year $1 million contract. And those guys are off the books within 1 or 2 years just because of the scheme fit, because you didn't utilize his skill set that would make him great. So you have to be careful. The Cowboys are looking at that. Everybody keep talking about Kenny Vaccaro, Kenny Vaccaro, Kenny Vaccaro. You see how long Kenny Vaccaro was on the street last year until he finally got signed? And then now he played okay with the Titans, and now they're kind of, to me, they're overpaying. That's why I said sometimes you have to be careful. Look at the Redskins. You're paying 6 year $84 million for a box safety, a guy who's not as good in coverage, and you just for him to come and make tackles is good, but you're paying that just for a box safety. Barry Church was a good box safety. He was not good at coverage, but he can make every tackle underneath. So you tell me the Cowboys should have paid him 6 year $84 million for that? You just kind of have to, but they're the Redskins. That's what the Redskins do. They always overpay for players in the division. You see how many players they done took from us and they didn't work out. Jason Hatcher, Orlando Scandrick, Zach Brown. They done took so many other players. What other players they take? What's his name? What's that guy's name? Terrell McClain. All these players who they done got from Deion Sanders in the 90s. Every team that went from Dallas and then Washington signed them, their careers went down. They was not the same player they was in Dallas. It's because of the culture that the Redskins run, the scheme fits that they run. We run a 4-3, then they run a 3-4. It's not the same. It's a totally different type. You have more linebackers on the field than D linemen when you have a 3-4. You're more a coverage team, with your linebackers and different things like that than pure pass rushing with a 4-3 team. So that's what I'm saying. So it just Redskins, they just sign players and throw money out. They don't look at scheme fits. They don't look at any of that. And it just kind of just like, that's why I say he might be good. Like I said, you do kind of got to take in consideration the Redskins do have one of the best defensive fronts in the league with Jonathan Allen and the other defensive tackle, what's his name, out of Alabama. Dude is big. Oh, what's his name? Why am I forgetting all these players? Big dude, 311 pounds from D tackle from Alabama who got drafted in 2017, right behind Vita Vea. It'll come to me later. I'll think about it once I'm on another topic. But Jonathan Allen, the other guy, y'all know what I'm talking about. Please help me out here in the comment section. What's the defensive tackle that from Alabama? The two Alabama defensive tackles for the Redskins. You have Jonathan Allen, and you have the other one. What's his name? But they have a good defensive front, and you add somebody like Landon Collins back there. He can help with that secondary. A lot of times when the defensive line is getting pressure on the quarterback and it makes the quarterback have to hold the ball an extra 3 to 4 seconds, it helps out the secondary because now they can cover. Now they can hold guys and they can play their positions. And then it forces the quarterback to either throw the ball away or throw a pass that he has no business throwing, have the rush to throw, or he's scrambling out the pocket and has to throw, do something to get rid of the ball. Or it makes him have to hold the ball and take a sack, which causes pressure, a strip sack fumble, anything like that. So when you have a good defensive front like that with the Redskins, you can sign guys like Landon Collins who can help mold your secondary, who can help improve the overall unit in the secondary. And they can help out your linebackers because they can clean up and make every single tackle. Or they can also come in on blitzes as well. So that's maybe what the Redskins are looking at. Like they said, and they made a couple of moves. They got Case Keenum in trade, so he's gonna be their quarterback for, I guess, for the next 2 to 3 years until they draft someone and mold them and also coach them up. So they can still go quarterback in the draft. I know a lot of people had them locked with mocked in a mock draft with Drew Lock out of Missouri. So he could be a guy you could just have Case Keenum for 1 or 2 years or until his contract runs out. You can have Drew Lock just sit and learn behind Case Keenum. And then once Case Keenum retires or his contract gets released, then you have your quarterback for the future who can step in, learn the system, and then you can build around him and mold him. And he could be your quarterback for the future. Because they Redskins actually was playing pretty good up until they lost Alex Smith. They were playing very good. Their defense was a handful. You saw how they gave us fits the first game. And, Alex Smith, he's a quarterback. He's just a winner. He's kind of like Dak. Reminds me of Dak. He's not had the best arm talent. Not he can run. He can run, but not the most arm talent. Not the guy that's gonna put up 300+ yards on average consistently. He just a guy who's gonna do the short intermediate throws, make the occasional deep throw, but he just a guy that knows how to put you in a position to win games. And that's what he was doing before he had the gruesome knee injury, leg injury, which they say he's having really bad problems with that. Is he had to do 3 different surgeries, and he's gonna be out this entire year as well. And then they gave him all that guaranteed money, so they're at a real bad position with quarterback. Like it's not pretty. It just was unfortunate what happened. Colt McCoy came in for like 2 or 3 games, and then he had a knee injury, a leg injury. So it just like back to back, they got hit with quarterbacks, and their season just plummeted because of it. So look for the Redskins. They're adding pieces. They're gonna be right back in the hunt, depending on how the play of Case Keenum. But they have some pieces. You got uh, Darius guys coming back. He tore his ACL. They had a lot of injuries. Jamison Crowder was out last year. They had a lot of injuries in last year. So the Redskins, I know they're the Redskins, but they have some talent. Don't sleep on the Redskins. And they're not done. They still have to draft. So they have some good pieces. They can fix their quarterback situation, get Darius guys back, and he can be good for them to run it back. They can do some. They can be a problem in the NFC East. So but yeah, so we have a lot more moves. It's a lot. It's still early. So like I said, it's only about to be 12:30. So you still have the whole entire day, and you still have a lot of moves, a lot of good players out there, including Earl Thomas, who the Cowboys are reportedly looking at signing, just like they said with Collins and many other players. So we'll see. It's a lot of safeties that's then came off the board. Like I said, Adrian Amos, Kenny Vaccaro. Um, you had Tyrann Mathieu who just signed. Um, he's gone as well. So you still have a lot of safeties who have signed so far. And you see how much money they're going for. And Earl Thomas, I'm pretty sure he's still gonna stay consistent with his price, so he's not gonna bring that down. So you still have some good players out there at every position, who the Cowboys can still make a play at. And it's still early. It's on the secondary free agency. Where you can actually sign guys to contracts. So you know how the Cowboys are. They are more the third or fourth day type where they just pick up different role players who can come in and play certain roles on special teams and on the backup role. That's what the Cowboys are gonna do because they still have you gotta understand you still have your own guys you have to sign. It doesn't make sense for you to get rid of all your guys that play good for you this past season for guys who play good somewhere else, but not you don't know necessarily how they're gonna fit with your team. That's what the Cowboys used to do back in the day. Jerry Jones used to throw money at get guys like Joey Galloway, Roy Williams, all these guys who come from other teams. You pay them all their money, they come here, don't fit the scheme, or they get lazy and they get the money and they get lazy and don't want to play hard anymore and they getting older, and then you're stuck with all these bad contracts. And that's what killed us for years. When the days with Romo or even in the early 2000s, that's why we couldn't get no quarterback. That's why we couldn't build the team. We just had to, because we kept throwing money, giving first round picks for Joey Galloway, for all these other players, Roy Williams. That's what hurt us from being around Roma all those years because of bad free agents. And Stephen Jones came in here He said, we're not doing that. We're going to sign our own guys who've been in here, who know the system, who know what's asked of them. We'll rather pay these guys because we know they're going to play at a high level for us rather than going to spend money on free agents and you're hoping that it work out. And they don't know the culture of our team. They don't know the message of our team, what we want in our players. So we're done with that. We're gonna just sign guys to free agency who are gonna come in and play, special teams roles or play backup roles who can be contributors when that number is called. But other than that, we're signing our starters, we're signing our guys, and then we're gonna keep just building through the draft, and we're gonna mold and coach those guys, and we're gonna stay young, fresh, and hungry, and that way we can keep our cap space, we can keep building the way we want. And we stay fresh and hungry. We keep getting those draft picks, and we just keep building our team. We let those guys on those rookie contracts. We get the most out of them while they're on their rookie contracts, and then we get to let them go, or we get to bring them back, and we get to decide what to do with them when their contract is up, and we can get the most out of them and build around them when the time comes. That's the Cowboys' philosophy. And honestly, I know everybody's saying we haven't won the Super Bowl doing that, but we have been to the playoffs since we've been doing that. I know for some reason, the the divisional round has already been our Achilles heel since 2014. We have to get past that, but you just at least see we're getting there. We're close. We all we gotta do is just keep adding pieces, just keep getting better with the team I got. Our defense only gonna get better. Our offense is only gonna get better. So that's what they're looking at. Like, why would we waste money bringing in somebody else, all this money? Then if it don't work out, then we still gotta pay him this contract. Then we gotta let at least two or three our guys who've been here and played good minutes and played good role. We gotta let them go for this other guy who we don't know really much about, and we don't know what he's gonna bring to our team. So we don't want to take that risk. We're gonna just pay our guys in Cooper, D Law, Dak, Byron Jones, and also Zeke. And those we know those guys. We know these are high character guys, and we know these guys and what they mean to our team. We already know what they can bring to the table. So we trust paying them over someone else from another team. And then we just keep building through the draft and just keep plugging in holes in free agency and filling in needs. So that's the Cowboys' philosophy, and it's been working with building our team for the past 5 years with Will McClay and Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones. So it's been working. So I just like to see a little bit, more, a little bit, just at least one. Come on, Jerry. Just Stephen, one free agent where you can see this guy say, okay, this guy can really make a difference for us. And I think Earl Thomas could be that guy. I know 15 million. But if he can lower that, that's the guy that you want back there with Xavier Woods. He will solidify that whole secondary, and you'll be fine. And then from there, you can just build through the draft, best player available. Because your secondary is set. You still got Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch at linebacker. Then you still got your front line intact on your D line. And then you could just go best player available in the draft. So if it's right there in the second round, it's a D tackle, right there sitting there, he's the best player available, get him. You already lost Irving. Antoine Woods only has this, he's only come back for this year. Malik Collins is in his contract year next year. So that's what I'm saying. So you could at least draft a guy who can learn behind those guys and be a rotational piece. Then if Malik Collins and Antoine Woods leaves next year, then you got your D tackle who learned from those guys and can step in and be the starter for next year. Or like you said, best player available in the second round is let's say, a swing tackle, an offensive tackle. Tyron Smith, he hasn't been healthy the past couple of seasons. You got your swing tackle. Lyle Collins going to be gone next year. You can have a swing tackle who can learn behind Tyron Smith. And then once Collins leaves, kick him out the right tackle. You still got Tyron Smith, and you got your future right tackle right there who sat behind and was a swing tackle, learned the position, and then he could be your starter for next year right tackle. Or you can draft him at guard, kick out Connor Williams next year at right tackle, which is his natural position, and kick that player that you kicked as a